Next question, next topic is there is a brand new sheriff in town at head coach for the Lakers. How will JJ Redick shape this team's identity moving into his first year as a professional head coach? Not just the head coach for the Lakers, but a professional NBA head coach. How is he going to shape the identity of this team?
Badly. I mean, what are your expectations for the Lakers this year?
I don't know if I have full blown expectations in terms of success or records.
Is AD going to be healthy?
That's the biggest thing. I think what we're going to see is we're going to see a large focal point, an offensive shift for AD if healthy. That's the biggest thing, because LeBron last year still had a higher usage rate than Anthony Davis. I expect that to change. JJ Redick has talked about a multitude of times that Anthony Davis needs to be used more on the offensive end, that he is going to be used more on the offensive end. And we're seeing it a little bit, again, it's preseason, but we are seeing it more in the preseason how much he is being used. And we saw a lot last night. He went off along with Dalton Connect. That was a crazy ass game. Bro went for like 35. He went for 20 in the fourth quarter. Shout out. Bro's crazy. Dude fell way too far in the draft, and I talked about that on draft night, that I couldn't believe how far that dude fell. But that's another thing of this team, is not just AD having a higher usage rate than LeBron coming up in the upcoming season. The other thing is going to be probably shooting more threes. It's something that is going to be a focal point for this team. It's another thing we saw in the preseason. They shot 43s in the first preseason game. That's probably top 5-ish is where I would place them at the end of the season. That's an expectation for them. The Celtics last year led the NBA in a little over 42 attempts per game, and the Lakers were near the bottom of the league despite being 8th in three-point percentage. So they were efficient on shooting the threes. They just didn't take a lot. One thing that they did end up doing a lot of is they ended up we lost Drew. That's okay. I'll keep going. They did a lot of mid-range shots, and they were atrocious at it. The efficiency at the mid-range line was god-awful. So my expectations for the Lakers isn't really a lot of their record, where they're going to end up being seated, how good or bad they're going to be. My expectations are just more of we're going to see them shooting more threes. I think with the amount of movement that JJ Redick is going to implement into this team, it's going to be a lot of movement. It's going to be a lot of plays, getting wide open shots for these guys. D'Lo, Austin Reeves, they're going to shoot a lot of open threes if they can actually mesh together perfectly. The other thing, again, number 2, AD having a higher usage rate, potentially close to an MVP caliber season is what I'm expecting if he's healthy, because AD can put up those type of numbers if he's healthy. Defensively, we know what he is. He struggles defensively against some of the premier talent in the NBA at the center position. Outside of that, he's fantastic. We know the block numbers he puts up. We know the defensive rating that he can actually post. He's great. But usage on offense is something that's going to excel, which then scales back LeBron, allows him to play a little bit more defense because he's carrying a lot of the offensive load. Still, 40 years old now? That's the second thing I expect more of. Defense is going to be a big focal point for the team as well. It's going to be a little bit tough for JJ to want to do anything with this team defensively, with them having, though arguably the worst defensive backcourt in the league, with Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell. Again, Bron won't play 100% on defense if he's carrying the offensive load, so you have to take that away from him, put it on an AD, and you know what AD can bring defensively. But again, he struggles with that premier talent. We have still lost Drew. So with that, we're going to continue on with the show because we're not going to stick on the Lakers all night tonight. Unfortunately, hopefully he's here long enough to at least jump on with this next one.